Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Building the Sales Machine. I am Eric Friedman. I'm very happy to welcome you all to the offices of Home Team. For those of you who don't know where we are, Home Team is a startup that is focused on in-home senior care. They're also building a sales team. If anybody's interested, James and Ryan, if you guys could just raise your hands in the back there, you can go talk to those guys. I'm really excited to see so many people out here. You guys are amongst the top sales leaders in New York. We've got a bunch of VPs of sales, CROs, their respective senior management teams, some sellers, some player coaches, and the like. For those of you who don't know the team, I'm Eric Friedman. My co-hosts are here tonight, Dave Greenberger and Evan Bartlett. I'm also happy to announce our guest and our new partner to Building the Sales Machine, Sam Jacobs from Livestream. Let's welcome my partners and Sam tonight.
Thank you.
Quick note, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We're doing some fun stuff tonight with them. Thank you to Scaled, Closer IQ, Sales Loft, of course, Home Team, where we are, and Slice. And of course, Livestream. A new addition to our show is we're actually live streaming this event right now. So
it's happening as we speak.
For those tuning in at home, hello.
You can watch on any device.
For those of you who don't know, Sam Jacobs is the SVP of Sales and Marketing at Livestream. He's coming on as our newest partner. He's got a ton of experience. He's been building sales machines for a very long time. First at GLG, then Axial, now at Livestream. Really before there was this much sales talent in New York. So with that, I'm going to get started. Again, for those of you who don't know, our format is to jump into things, get pretty tactical. But for the sake of Sam and his partnership with us, we're going to let him give some background, and then we're going to get into questions. So I'm happy to get started.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
Thanks for being here.
Where should we start?
So I guess maybe I wanted to have you say a few words about, when you got started and what the New York sales ecosystem looked like in 2009, 2010 when you got started. I think that would help people.
Sure. And actually, I really got started in 2000. I guess I'm going to date myself, but 2002, 2003, and it also wasn't my first job, so I'm even older than that. So I'm older than some of you, but that's okay. So I got started in 2003 at GLG, and I think when we were speaking in our breakfast, I was saying that a lot of the terminology, a lot of the talent, a lot of the skill sets that are now prevalent in the New York tech community were not even in existence back then. So we were at GLG, and I spent almost 8 years taking that company, not just me, but the group of us, helped it grow from 20 million in revenue roughly to about 300. And over 7.5 years, it was an incredible experience. And I ran a thing that we called Global Research Management, which in today's nomenclature would be I was the head of customer success, but I didn't know that. GLG was in many ways the first SaaS business. So a lot has changed. If you haven't read it, there's a guy named Matt Turk at First Mark Capital that talked about the evolution of the New York tech industry and how we're essentially coming into chapter 2s and chapter 3. And I think that that's something that really resonates with me because, you hear about the development of the New York tech community and you feel like you sort of get it, but really what are the constraints to starting and scaling some of these companies? And you realize that it's really skill set and experience and operational expertise that needs to be developed over time, which is why it's so important to have big exits and big outcomes, which is why the Bay Area with so many different B2B enterprise companies where you get acquired, the people that built and scaled Oracle and SAP and Siebel, they go on to start Salesforce and LinkedIn and all of those other companies. And that's why those liquidity moments in a tech community are so important because they can create this diaspora of talent where those people that used to be at those companies can then start the new companies. For us, I think we're really, again, as I'm just paraphrasing Matt, which you guys should all read that post, but we're sort of in chapter 2. Chapter 1 is, I worked at, I got to Axial in 2009, 2010, and Aaron Ross's predictable revenue had just come out. And separating the SDR function from the account executive function was sort of a new thing. And, some of the folks in the room who have worked with me might remember some of these emails, but plain text email marketing was a new thing, right? The right direction ? Email was a powerful tool that many of us used, and it was all new. It was totally greenfield. You could take a database, you could plug it into, Yesware was brand new. Tout, I don't think existed. There wasn't, email intelligence and email communication software. So we were building all those functions, and they're still building, and that's why the reason that we need to go through these reps and it takes time to develop the community is the reason that when someone's looking for a director of demand generation, there's about 5 people or 10 people in the New York Bay Area, in the New York area, whereas in the Bay Area there's 200. And when it's not as much that you need 50 VPs of sales, but you need those second level functions, and the only way that you really develop those second level functions is by giving people the experience to do those functions. So now we are building sales operations as a competency. Now we are building demand generation and content marketing as a competency. Now we are building, all of us collectively in this room, SDR management as a specific competency. And now, of course, you're also building inbound SDR versus outbound SDR competency. So that's why it takes a little while, because again, when there's 3 people in the city that can do demand generation, that's a very tough competency. That's a very tough skill set to hire for. And frankly, right now, as it relates to demand generation, we don't even have a consistent definition of what that is, because everybody that you meet is going to define it subtly differently. So I think we're in chapter 2. That's good. Chapter 3 will be even better. The benefit of it is, of course, we can scale these companies more quickly because we're not all learning all this stuff the first time.
I appreciate all that background. I think one of the things that makes us get along so well is we believe that next generation, that next wave is happening. Probably a lot of those people are here.
I'm sure they are.
That happens.
They worked with me and for me, and now they're doing great things by themselves. So I love to see it.
Same here, and that's why I love this audience. And hopefully, while you guys love this event, you probably know the next thing I'm going to say, which is let's get super tactical.
Let's do it.
We're going to get into some questions. We spent a bunch of time prepping for this. And then what we'll do is go through the questions that we have and then turn it over to you guys. Make sure we're spending the time on the things you guys want to hear about from Sam. So
yeah, and just to emphasize that these things are not, we were joking around before, it's not, what is it? What kind of qualities do you look for in an account executive? Well, they've got to have intellectual curiosity and grit, which is a cliche at this point. So I don't mind getting as specific as you want to get. Let's hopefully make this session as productive as possible.